Hey guys, so for today's video, I wanted to show you the new Orb of Light Full Moon palette, and this is from Black Moon Cosmetics. So I purchased this as well as this liquid lipstick here from Ulta, basically as soon as I saw it online, because you guys know I love dark things. This palette is, I believe, $48, and then this is $18 for the liquid lipstick. There was two shades from the matte collection that they had, and then they also had some for metallic. The packaging is so freaking awesome. Like, just the box itself is just really well thought out. I mean, the cover of it has this nice like holographic lettering. Basically, it's inspired by the moon. There's 8 shades in this palette that are all matte and really buttery and creamy. The mirror is actually pretty decent size. There's a tiny little moon in it. Biggest shade of all is the one called New. The names are so awesome, by the way. Black Wolf, Blood, Harvest, Worm, Cold, Strawberry, New. Love those. So yeah, guys, if you want to see my first impressions of these two products here, then just keep on watching. I'm first going in with my favorite primer. This is from LA Girl, and putting this all over the entire lid, and then I'm going to be setting it with the eyeshadow New from the palette. So this is a warm ivory shade, and it's meant for setting or using as a base. I accidentally applied the red shade first instead of this first, which I did for the other eye already. But as you guys can see, I just wanted to leave this footage in here. This eyeshadow will literally cover anything. It is so incredibly pigmented. Look at the way it just completely makes that red eyeshadow disappear. And red eyeshadow is hard to make disappear. Going in with Blood, which is described online as a dried blood red shade. I applied it first to the outer corner of the eye. That's where I wanted it to be most concentrated. And then when I felt like there wasn't a lot left on the brush, I started working it inwards, upwards, and outwards. I do usually like to do that with my eyeshadows just because it helps to elongate my eyes. And after I did that, I went through it with a clean blending brush and just kind of buffed out the edges. For me, when I'm using eyeshadows, I feel like, especially ones that are this colorful, it's just like a little intimidating because I don't usually wear these type of shades. So I do like to go in with layers, and I feel most comfortable doing that so that I can determine how crazy I want it to look. I'd say with 3 layers, it was just unbelievably beautiful. Like, so deep and intense, and just I loved it. I almost wanted to stop right there, but I kept going. For the outer corner, I wanted to darken things up with the shade Black. So this is described as blackest black, and you guys can see it. There's no fallout with any of these eyeshadows. When you pick them up, they legitimately stay on the brush, which is really nice. You don't have to deal with a bunch of powder everywhere. Carefully applied this with a pointed blending brush into that outer V and also along the lash line, and buffed it out with the same blending brush that I used for the shade Blood. But I didn't add really any extra product onto that. So I did about 2 layers of that to get a nice depth and darkness in that outer corner area. Then I worked New along the brow bone, blended that out with a clean blending brush. So far so good. Those 2 shades you guys saw blended beautifully together, incredibly buttery, very pigmented. Now we're gonna go in with Harvest, which is a burnt orange eyeshadow, and I'm packing that on pretty heavily with a flat brush onto the center of my lid and then working it inwards. I'm not bringing it too far in though, because I don't like to create a harsh shadow in the inner corner of my eye, so I'm making sure to really buff that edge out and blending it up into the crease. With my finger, I patted on Blood in between Harvest and Black so that there would just be a nice smooth transition there between those 2 shadows. And from there, I just kind of further blended things out. From there, I tapped into the tiniest amount of Black onto a new blending brush and buffed that into the outer edges of the crease. Strawberry, which is like a dusty light pink, and popped that into the inner corners. Worked that up into the crease as well, just to kind of mesh it in with the other shades. Winged eyeliner from the inner corner all the way out, extending it pretty far past my natural eye shape. and Mosquito Lashes in X and O's. In case any of you guys are curious what I used for the rest of my face, I'm contouring with the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in Cocoa under the cheekbones, tip of the nose, and also along my jawline, and blended it out with the Real Techniques blending sponge. Set over top of that with some bronzer. This is from the Pop Beauty Contour 101 palette. And for blush today, I went with NARS Outlaw because it has a nice berry tone to it. So I just popped that on the apples of the cheeks. A highlight to the high points of my face. This is Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow. All right, lips. Guys, I always, especially if I'm doing a dark lip, line my lips first. I don't care if it's a lip liner or an eyeliner. Usually both work the same for me. This happens to be a eyeliner from Maybelline. It's waterproof. I just simply sketched out how I wanted my lip shape to be on the top and bottom. And here I am going in with the Liquid 2 Matte Lipstick in Sleepwalker, a black matte shade from Black Moon Cosmetics. So first impression of it was, wow, this is incredibly black and intense and exactly what I wanted it to be and to look like. The formula of it I felt was really comfortable as I was applying it to my lips. Really the only issue I had was trying to perfect the lines on the outer corners of my lips and get them to be straight. Definitely had to do a lot of cleanup around the outer edges of my lips, but I didn't mind that because at the time when I had first put this lipstick on, thought that it looked great. Like once you get it on your lips and you got the shape down, it looks great. However, there was definitely a problem with it, which I will address in the outro. For the lower lash line, all I did was applied blood throughout the entire thing and really blew it out and made sure to connect it up to the top eyeshadows. Black in the outer corner, Harvest in the inner part, Strawberry in the very inner corner, again, just to intensify it more. Same black eyeliner on the lips in the waterline, and finished with Superfan Mascara by Smashbox. So final thoughts on this palette here. I love it. It's everything. It's everything with this palette, from the packaging to how well thought out everything was, like the design of it. The names are awesome. The shadows themselves, incredibly pigmented, very, very easy to work with. Like, you don't need to be super advanced with makeup to be able to use this palette. Absolutely not. These are so like user-friendly, and they go on, yes, very pigmented, but so creamy to the point that you can blend them out like no issue whatsoever, whether you don't have a primer or you do have a primer, because I feel like both eyes look pretty damn similar. Like, I don't notice a difference. So really, primer or not is totally up to you. You don't necessarily need it though. This shade is really awesome. Let me swatch it for you guys. It's just like a brown with like a sheen to it. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the ones that I didn't use for you guys just so that you can see. Yeah, that's crazy. 10 out of 10 stars. Highly recommend it for you guys to try. And I had a good time too. Like, I feel like that's a thing with makeup. You know, you want to have fun while you're putting it on. You don't want to feel stressed. You want it to be easy. And you want to, you know, enjoy yourself while you're doing it. And that's what I was able to do with this palette today. It was super fun. As for the liquid lipstick, here it really does just kind of disappear because of the wetness of my mouth, I guess. And then it just looks kind of strange when I'm talking. But if I'm not talking, then it looks perfectly fine. I did try to touch up in here 3 different times and it still just keeps happening. I even tried like putting liquid lipstick on and then just keeping my mouth open and letting it dry like that for like a few minutes, and then it still happened again. So I don't know, I don't really wear matte liquid lipsticks like this so often, so maybe that's just like a normal thing to happen. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. So I touched it up and you guys can see that it definitely looks better, but as soon as my lips start to get moist again, it comes back. But this definitely was the winner for me in today's video. This is what I would definitely 100% recommend for you guys to get. Like, look at that holographic. Oh my god, it's so cool. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of this palette and if you're thinking of getting it or the liquid lipstick. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.